You guys know what a dry snitch is? Have you heard that term? Dry snitch is a lingo on the streets. And you know what a rat is? A rat is somebody that gets in a jam, but if they have information on somebody that's bigger, you can take the cheese, you can give that information up, you can get yourself out. Okay. But a dry snitch is where you're not in a jam, there's nothing on the table, and you just offer a guy up. You just offered him up. And I got to tell you, so a couple of months ago, I did Andrew Schultz's show. And topic of LeBron James have come up. LeBron James and EPO. And there was a bit of a misconception there that I was giving LeBron a hard time. I was not. I had my days with LeBron. I feel as though I've told them to you, but he won me over. It was all cool in the gang. I shared a story with you guys when I was having my whatever that was. Whatever that was. He was coming to the event. Where did LeBron hurt my feelings somewhere along the way. He was coming to the events, and then he was sidling up with Anderson Silva. Like, it was something as simple as that to get into my crosshairs. So just to share with you, like, you know, wasn't overly bad. And then I shared a story with you guys. I had a friend, a girl, name is Paige, and she was locked out of her room at the Mandalay Bay. It was a crazy time in the morning. It was 3 a.m. or something like this. And she's sitting on this, there's a bench down there. She's sitting, she doesn't have her ID. She's got a room upstairs, but she doesn't have her license to go to the desk and get the key. And she's sitting there completely dejected. I mean, this is where she's going to have to stay. And he sees her and he comes up. And he says, hey, is there something wrong? He could read it on her face. And she told him what happened. I can't get into my room. I don't have an ID. And he said, come on. And he took her up. And he said, I need to get this girl a key. Told her the room number. And they said, no, we don't have an ID. Threw down $500. He said, I need to get her a key. And they say, hey, that's not how it works. You know, we can't do that. He threw down $500, said, I need to get her a key. He kept playing this game until he was broke. She actually ends up not getting the key, by the way. That's how the story. But he emptied his pocket trying to get a total stranger who happened to be my friend a key. So we're cool, right? It's all whatever. He hugged Anderson, and I got my little feelings or whatever. But we're all done. And years later, I'm on Andrew Schultz, and man, this guy, you know, he's taking EPO. We got the same dealer, and I'm speaking to a positivity of medicines that are out there. It was a very different point. And I'm here in Oregon. They got a channel called 970. It's an AM channel. I want to say it's called The Fan. 970 The Fan. Rings a bell. But you got these two guys that come on there, and they're syndicated, and they do a very good job. And they were speaking about this. And they're saying, well, you know, how could you trust that guy? And blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to deal with those things, but they were still missing the point. This wasn't to out somebody or act like his good deeds or his good career or his scores or his titles were somehow illegitimate. It wasn't like that. But you will have certain sports where it's a level playing field of cheating. It's a level playing field of cheating. And the expression everybody's doing, that's not true, and that's a cop-out. But there are times on a broad stroke, it's more accurate the non-accurate of a statement. We have a lot of sports to this day who have never discovered as an industry chemical enhancement. And if I was to look at the guys in the NBA that are on the gear, I'm not going to need all my fingers. In the entire league, I'm not going to need all of my fingers. And so when you have a guy that's on the cocktail, test, growth, EPO, ultimate cocktail that's created, these three. When you have a guy that's on that, I am speaking to the power of the medicine. The Rock has always been very nice to me. I don't like to come out and disparage The Rock. He's always been a very sweet guy. It bothers me that he won't tell people what he's doing, right? If you're going to put your picture out and you're going to put your look, don't talk about it's because, you know, I eat pancakes on Sundays only and I do these things because somebody's going to go and do that. I'm one of those guys. I grew up under Hulk Hogan. I'm also not mad at Hulk. He's also very sweet to me. But I did grow up under Hulk Hogan, and I did do all sorts of curls, and I did do all sorts of push-ups, and I did these all the time, trying to look like him. And before you know it, this all the time business I'm speaking of was 15 years. 15 years of gym memberships and in the weight room. But he hadn't told me the rest of it. And I only bring that to you because, steroid is such a derogatory term, but anabolics are perfectly good medicine. You'll see this on TV all the time. Hey, man, if you're over 40, call 1-800-testosterone. Like, it's one of these things. I'm not talking about doing something illegally. It just sounds that way, right? You have good medicines that athletes used to cheat and gave it a very bad name. And I'm trying to go to the other side with it, the side that Schwarzenegger went to, the side that Sylvester Stallone went to, the side that Suzanne Summers went to, which is to go out, look great, feel great, and then tell people the truth about what you did. And there's a number of reasons. You're not going to come out and say, I took EPO, but I'm trying to speak to you about this. Is a fascinating medicine, right? I mean, this was my whole beef with Lance Armstrong. I'm the first one that said that Lance was cheating. Lance considered suing me. I went on the Jim Rome show. Do you guys know about this? I went on the Jim Rome show, and I told you, see, you couldn't say Lance Armstrong at the Olympic Training Center. I'm walking all over town at the coffee shop, and I'm seeing these yellow bracelets that were these Lance Armstrong Live Strong, and it was all of these things. And people were so proud of me. I mean, it was this thing. I'm looking around going, yeah, but athletes, you can't even say his name. Lance Armstrong was a 4-letter word at the Olympic Training Center in the 90s. That's how much athletes know. I mean, he didn't get cracked and go sit on Oprah's couch until, what was it, guy? 2011? In the 90s, athletes knew. You wouldn't see one of those at the Olympic Training Center. None. Because they knew that he was cheating. And the problem for me, I'm personalizing. It wasn't the use of the medicine. It was the fact that you would discover, somebody grabbed you. You're not a chemist. You're not a doctor. You didn't go into a lab. You didn't work on this. Somebody grabbed you. Somebody that had knowledge. Somebody who did do those things grabbed you, and they let you in on something fascinating. They let you in on something that was legal that could make you better at your job. EPO, by the way, guys, is legal. No. Controlled substance, you must prescription. It's against sport rule. Like, don't think you need to share these things with me. I'm just sharing for you. This is not like having a Class C substance. This is not like being in the possession of cocaine, by example. So that's always where my aggravation comes, right? When you have somebody that discovers something. I mean, Sylvester Stallone goes on the Letterman show when I was a sophomore in high school, and Suzanne Summers wrote a book that was separated by like 3 months, and they both told the truth. Sylvester Stallone said, hey, there's something out there called human growth hormone. In other countries, it sits on the shelves. I several times have driven across the border into Mexico. I just walked in the pharmacy and grabbed it. Here in America, you can't get it come hook or crook, and that will be different. In 30 years, when people finally realize, to what I've already realized, you will be able to get it. This was just a claim he made. I mean, I'm just going back all this time, and I remember him saying it. It was a very honorable thing that Stallone did, and he wants to go out and put out pictures and videos and show himself lifting weights. That's very honorable, because he's telling us what he's doing. And if that inspires you or something you'd like to do, you can now follow his recipe and have a reasonable expectation that you get somewhere to those same gains. I think there's an honor in that. And when I brought up to Andrew Schultz about the EPO and LeBron James, I just bring that to you. I'm not putting down LeBron. There's 10 guys that do it. Like, that has separated itself. I mean, I only know one golfer that's on the diet. And I'm talking about the big three. I'm talking about boost your test, IGF-1, which means growth hormone, EPO. I only know one golfer. All of golf. I only know ever in the history of golf. All the way back to, remember the Lee Trevino, the great? I only know one golfer. But they call him Tiger, because this stuff works. And it also is legal. The 3 that I just said are legal. It's the John Cena approach. Tell people I've never taken anything. Well, he says that because he's never taken anything illegal. He just happens to know a secret that so many others don't, which is you can get prescribed these medications. And I was just speaking to the power of the medication. I'll leave you with one final thought. My Uncle Mel, best athlete in our family. world champion, Olympic champion, and he might have another world championship, by the way. 64, Tokyo, United States Olympic gold medalist. 65, Boston Celtics, world champion. And he won another one. I know he won another one, but I think he might even be a 3-time world champion and Olympic champion. And my Uncle Mel doesn't talk about his career a lot. It was a Christmas, many Christmases ago, that he was hosting a I said, man, can I see that gold medal? Never seen an Olympic gold medal in my life. And he said, yeah. And he went upstairs, and I mean, it was like 40 minutes until he came down. He couldn't find it. And when he did come down, it was in a box. And the box was like blue, and it was felt. You know those boxes that are felt, and you open it up, the beautiful metals there, and it's just like, it was covered in lint. It was filthy. It was in the back on the bottom in his closet. But a lot of greats are like, they don't even know where the medal. I can't imagine that. My nephew would never have to ask me to see my gold medal. I'd find a way to, oh, hey, did I drop that? Oh, that's my Olympic gold medal. You know, I would find a way. My Uncle Mel's only told me one thing about his sport, and it was a regret. Sport of basketball. It was a regret. And he said if he could do it again, he would have lifted more weights. And I didn't understand that. And I bring it to you because I don't think that you guys would understand. Why would you need to lift weights? Why would you have to lift weights in basketball? Why? And I asked him that. What do you need weights for? Was the balls heavy? What are you talking about? Lift weights? And he said, no. He said, there's a confidence needed. And that confidence is directly tied to your physicality and your physical abilities for rebounding. He said, you will not get in there and you will not go up and you will not exchange elbows and bumps. You will not do the same thing that you would do if you try. I just thought it was interesting. I just bring it to you because there was no dry snitch. There was a very open conversation. The one Lance Armstrong should have had. The one Sylvester Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Suzanne Summers did have the courage to have. The one that Rock and John Cena and Hulk Hogan should all have. Which is the truth and the benefits they discovered to a legal substance. That's my opinion. But I think that you guys will side with me.